That's right. Welcome into your Go Black and Gold coverage. Chris Landry, NFL scout, and of course, always dropping by the studio here. And finally, football is back.
Good to see you again.
We've been doing these countdowns and countdowns and countdowns, and finally, it's back. The Saints, their first preseason game. We're going to do something a little bit different this season. Your Landry list, if you will, of things to watch. We're going to look at kind of matchups or a guy to watch, whether it's the Saints or the opponent, a position group to watch. That'll be your Landry list, and that'll be your challenge here this season. So your first Landry list of the season after that Saints first preseason game. I know you were kind of disappointed in especially one position group.
Yeah, it's no reason to be alarmed about that it's going to be a problem into the future. But the thing about preseason, in addition to evaluating players, is about getting better from one week to the next on individual things, not just the overall stats. But I thought the defensive front of the Saints really did a poor job in week one. They did a poor job with gap control. They didn't leverage the run very well. Two guys in one gaps and leaving a gap free. Those are things that are fundamental, very, very sloppy. And that led to big plays by the Vikings in the passing game and the running game. So that's got to improve a great deal. I know in the secondary there were some issues in finding the ball, but looking at the tape, the defensive front was the biggest concern I had on that side of the ball, which really didn't do a very good job the entire game defensively.
Everybody wants to talk about Teddy Bridgewater being possibly that heir apparent. I know we've kind of tapped the brakes on that as far as our outlook there for that position. And Drew Brees, one day, you never really want to see it come, but one day when he does retire or when he goes on, you want to see that heir apparent really kind of take those reins. And I thought it was a mixed review. Now, keep in mind, Minnesota, when I put on the tape, they didn't look so vanilla. Usually in these preseason games, it's very vanilla. They brought a lot of pressure at Teddy, and we got to see how he could manage that. Good in the 2-minute drill, not as good before that.
Well, I think the first thing we need to keep in mind, and I mentioned this when the Saints acquired Teddy Bridgewater, the whole, well, he's going to replace Drew Brees. There's going to be a drop-off whoever takes that job. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I think Teddy could start for some teams in this league. I think he's very bright. He is a good worker. I mean, he's really into the game. He makes good decisions. He's accurate with the football, short to medium, and he does a good job of that. I thought he did a good job of that in the game. Teams work on different things, and part of it is if you're going to have a lot of exotic pressures, which Mike Zimmer does on his defense, you're going to work on that. It's going to be a big part of it. So I thought he did a nice job of handling it, particularly with some young offensive linemen, trying some different guys, different spots. All those things are hodgepodge in preseason. So I always caution everybody to say, don't look at the overall result. You got to really break down the individual concepts within what they're trying to do, because it's very individualistic, and it's trying to, in essence, expose a player to see what he can or can't do. In other words, you don't game plan for an opponent. So if a guy's going to need a little help and protection, you don't do that in preseason. You're trying to see what it is he can handle, what he can't, so that when you go into the regular season, you have a better handle on not who you want to play in what spots, who could handle the spots in reserve, but then how you need to play them going forward. And there are going to be some, obviously, a particular change, and I should mention that I thought Eric McCoy did a very nice job, the rookie center, and I think he's definitely, I think, a little bit more advanced than I thought he would be at this stage. He's going to need some help with protection calls, but that's normal. But he's got physically, he certainly's got all the ability to make that adjustment quickly.
He's Chris Landry with his first Landry list of the season right here on your Go Black and Gold.